Swadikap. Hello. Swadikap, good morning. All my students, welcome to our online classroom again this morning, okay? So today, the reason why I wear a traditional Thai costume is because this is a very special festival of Thai people, okay? A very special festival for Thai people. It is the Songkran festival, okay? So in this period, everybody seems to be very happy. Okay, we enjoy our Songkran festival, the Thai New Year indeed. Okay, so I would like before my lecture to take this precious moment to extend to you my the best regards and best wishes for everything, for happiness, for prosperity, for the peace, and all the best to you on this special occasion. Okay, so now back to our lecture. We are now in the session of the law of contracts. Remember, we have embarked on the part on contracts, and we in our previous lecture we have looked at the issue regarding the formation of a contract. Okay, remember we have seen from our previous lecture that a contract is formed by the what? By the meeting of the minds. The meeting between the what? The meeting between an offer and an acceptance. One person needs to make an offer and the other one needs to make an acceptance, which indeed matches the offer completely. Okay, when there is a meeting between an offer and acceptance, then there is the meeting of the minds, so that a contract is formed between the parties. Of course, we will need to ensure the meeting between an offer and an acceptance. In our previous lecture, we have seen the nature of an offer. Okay, we have seen that not all statements are intended to be an offer. In order for a statement to be an offer, that statement must be clear, and that statement, importantly, must be what? Must indicate that that person is ready to be bound by that statement. Okay, that is what we have looked at, in our previous lecture. This morning, in this lecture, we are going to have a look at an acceptance. Okay, in fact, we are going to discuss two things. The first one is, of course, an acceptance. Okay, and the second one, it is the situation which is known as the reduction to writing. Okay, where the parties agree that there will not be any contract until a contract is put into writing. Okay, this situation is known as the reduction to writing. Okay, so these are a couple of things which we will discuss this morning. Okay, so let's begin with the first one. Okay, the first one is what? An acceptance. Okay, so before I deliver lecture on this one, let me just place my sword down. Okay, the reason why I carry on this sword is because I would like to show you that now, okay, we have the duty to protect our countries. Okay, our countries seem to be placed in the state of ruins by something. Okay, so I think that we have the duty to protect also democracy in this country. Okay, so let's try to have a look at everything in our country and make sure that that nothing is going to be put into the big ruins. Okay, so that it is our duty to protect our country. Okay, our country seems to be a very big country, and we have to protect our country. Okay, we will have to protect our country against all the damage, all the ruins which are going to be caused by the people who are not who do not have good intentions for our country. Okay, so all students of this country of Thammasat University will have to make sure that we stand at the right side, and we try to look after our country. Okay, try to make sure that our country is safe from the everything which which is likely to place our country in the state of despair, okay, or the state of ruins, okay. So that is set. So now please allow me to just place this sword down. Okay, the reason why I carry this sword is not because I want to show violence, but because I would like you to realize that our ancestors, our forefathers, the risked their lives in order to protect what is now Thailand, okay? What is now Thailand? This is the land which has been protected by our ancestors, by our forefathers. So in our generation, okay, we will have to look after our country very, very well. Okay, so that is one thing which I need to say before I begin to my lecture this morning. Okay, again, we begin with what? We begin with the acceptance. We will look at the nature of an acceptance. Okay, remember when we talk about an offer, we have seen two essential the essential elements for an offer. Remember, two essential elements of an offer are first, okay, clarity, i.e. the statement which is intended to be an offer must be clear, and secondly, the readiness to be bound. Okay, so the statement which is expressed, the statement which is made must show that the person who uses that statement is ready to be bound. Now, what are essential elements for an acceptance? Okay, as with an offer, indeed, if you look at the CCC, if you look at the provisions of our civil and commercial code, we can see that there is no definition provided by the CCC. You will not find any provision which says what is an offer, okay? But even though there is no definition, we can generally, okay, describe an offer as what? Describe an acceptance as what? As a declaration of an intention which clearly indicates unqualified assent to the offer. Let's suppose that A makes an offer, okay, to B. When A makes an offer to B, B will accept that offer by doing what? By clearly indicating his assent to that offer. When A made an offer to B, if B wants to accept A's offer, B will have to declare his intention, okay, and it must be the intention which clearly indicates that, okay, the B, okay, they would like to give assent to the offer, okay, in the way which does not depart from an offer, okay. The acceptance, the assent which is given to an offer, there must be what? Must be in the manner which does not in any way, okay, alter the offer, okay. So remember we have seen the word unqualified acceptance, unqualified assent, that means that the assent or the acceptance does not differ from an offer in any way, okay. If we have, a reply to an offer, but that reply differs in some way from an offer, that is not an acceptance, okay. That is just the unqualified acceptance. An unqualified acceptance will not operate as an acceptance in our law, okay. And I think that is also a position in other countries' law as well, okay. So to start with, okay, we have seen that, okay, the important element or characteristics of an acceptance is, of course, clarity as well. Clarity in the sense that, okay, a person who makes an acceptance must clearly indicate his assent to an offer. Okay, so that when one person, let's say that this is A, this is B, okay, when A makes an offer to B, okay, if B wants to accept, say, this offer, B will have to do what? Will have to clearly indicate his assent to this offer. B will have to give the so-called unqualified acceptance. Okay, B will have to accept the A's offer in a way which does not alter, okay, the terms of the offer. Okay, that means that an acceptance must not be different from an offer in any way. Okay, otherwise it is going to be the qualified acceptance, which is not an acceptance which will which is not an acceptance, okay, in the eyes of the law. Okay, so now back to the essential elements of an acceptance. Okay, remember the first element is the quality of the statement which is manifested. Okay, the statement which is manifested must clearly indicate the assent to an offer. Okay, so in some context, okay, we will have to consider whether or not the statement in question, okay, is intended to be an offer or an acceptance. Sometimes we will have to determine whether or not the statement concerned is an offer or is acceptance. Okay, because when sometimes it seems to be quite vague whether or not, okay, the statement or the declaration of an intention in the question is an offer or is an acceptance. Okay, we can look at the determination, okay, of an offer or an acceptance from this case. Sometimes when we deal with a statement, we will have to consider whether or not it is an offer or whether or not it is an acceptance. You may think that, well, this statement is an offer. You may think that this statement is an acceptance. Okay, so we will have to look at the statement very, very carefully and determine whether or not it is intended to be an offer or an acceptance. Okay, we can have a look at the context involving an insurance. Okay, insurance. Okay, you know that when somebody I hope that means sometimes you can just receive phone calls from some companies. Okay, the phone call you may receive a calls from the insurance agents. Okay, they're trying to just sell you insurance packages. Okay, so when you want to conclude an insurance contract. Okay, normally you will be given what you will be presented some information. Okay, the insurance agents will just give you some information and let you decide whether or not you would like to enter into an insurance contract. Okay, normally, okay, when the agent, okay, when the insurance agents give you information, okay, that is not yet an offer, because when the agent gives you information, okay, they try to just encourage you to think about it, and then after that, after you look at all information, you make your decision, and then you will send in an application. You will have to apply, okay, for an insurance by the company. Okay, so the application from your part, it is an offer. Remember, in order for a contract to be formed, there must be an offer, and there must be also an acceptance of that offer. Now, your application is an offer. Now, what is going to be an acceptance in order for an insurance contract to be concluded? Well, after a customer, okay, after a customer sends the application, which is an offer, then the insurance company will have to consider whether or not they want to approve the application. Sometimes, maybe your health is not very good. Maybe your health is appalling, so that means the insurance company may consider that it is not worth, okay, allowing you to have, right? So that, when you send in an application, then the company through the agent, of course, okay, through the insurance agent, will have to consider whether or not, okay, that they want to approve your application, okay. If they approve your application, that approval from the insurance company, it is an acceptance, okay. So from then on, a contract of insurance is formed. Again, a contract of insurance is formed, okay, by an offer and an acceptance. Okay, an offer comes from, a customer by, the making an application, okay, to the company, to the insurance company, and then the acceptance comes from the approval by the insurance company. Okay, so once approval has been given by an insurance company, there is a contract of insurance. That means that after that, let's say that the insurance covers accidents, if you are the one who applied for an insurance contract, okay, then from then on, if you have an accident, then you will be, the paid compensation by the insurance company, because the accident occurred during the life of the insurance contract. But the thing is that, if, for instance, if you have an accident which occurred before the approval, that is given by an insurance company. Okay, in that case, when you send in your application, that is an offer, and then you will have to wait for an acceptance in the form of the approval from the company. Okay, let's suppose that the company has not yet approved your application, so that there is no contract yet. If there is any accident, okay, before that point, before the company send in the approval, that accident occurred before the formation of a contract. There has been no contract between you and insurance company yet. So if you unfortunately, okay, they have any accident before the approval from the company, that means that you are not yet protected, simply because there is no contract of insurance yet. Okay, so what I have been told you here, it is in fact, okay, the real case which has been taken from the Supreme Court. Okay, there is the decision of the Supreme Court in the 1999 here. Okay, with regard to the insurance contract. Okay, and it has been held by the Supreme Court that before the approval by the insurance company, there was no contract yet. So that, okay, when the applicant had an accident before that point, then the person who sent in the application was not yet protected. Okay, there was no contract yet. Okay, so this case is a very striking example of of this legal status of a statement. Okay, we will have to consider whether or not a statement in question. Okay, the statement in question is an offer or is an acceptance. Okay, sometimes we will have to find out whether or not, okay, this and that statement is intended to be an offer or an acceptance. Okay, if we find out, okay, whether or not it is an offer or it is an acceptance, then we will have an answer whether or not there is a contract between the parties concerned. Okay, now, right, let's move on to look at an acceptance. Okay, the one thing which is very, very important is that in order for a contract to be formed, as I have mentioned earlier, okay, the acceptance equation must match the offer completely. Okay, there must not be any difference between an offer and an acceptance. If A makes an offer to B, B will have to accept A's offer in a way which does not demonstrate any alteration from an offer. If there is any difference, if there is any discrepancy between an offer and acceptance, then there will not be a contract. An acceptance which is different from an offer, it is known as, a qualified acceptance, Okay, you will have a qualifying acceptance when the acceptance in question has some additions, or sometimes the acceptance has some restrictions, okay, or the acceptance has some other modification, okay. So whether or not there is whether or not there are some additions, there are some restrictions, or any other modifications, the acceptance in question is the qualified or modified acceptance, so that there is no contract, okay? So what is the position of the law, okay, when we have a qualified acceptance? A qualified acceptance is taken by law as a new offer. When A makes an offer to B and B accepts a offer with some, the additions, with some restrictions, or with any other modifications, the acceptance made by B will be first a refusal of an offer, and secondly, it will in itself be a new offer, or we can call this one a counter offer, or in Thai คำเสนอขึ้นมาใหม่ okay. So if A makes an offer to B and B accepts say offer, okay, with some additions, with some restrictions, or with any other modification, that acceptance will be a new offer. It will first be a refusal of A's offer, and it will at the same time be a new offer or a counter offer. So there is no contract yet. There is no contract until A accepts that new offer. Remember, when A makes an offer and B accepts the offer with some modification, that is a refusal of A's offer. So A offer ceases to exist because it is refused, it is rejected by B. Okay, the qualifying acceptance will be first a refusal or a rejection of the offer, okay, and it will be a new offer. So when it is a new offer, that means that B will have to wait for A to accept this new offer. If A accepts that new offer, then there will be a contract between A and B. But if A does not accept B's new offer, there will not be any contract, okay? These two legal consequences of, a modified acceptance or a qualified acceptance are embodied in the section 359, section 359, paragraph 2 of the Civil and Commercial Code of Thailand, okay? Which provides that an acceptance which contains additions, limitations, or other modifications shall be deemed to be a refusal and constitute in itself a new offer. See, so this is something quite straightforward. Okay, so if A makes an offer to B and B accepts that offer with some modification, that will be a new offer, and then the contract has not yet been formed unless the first party accepts that new offer. Okay, have a look at example here. We have an example here. Okay, let's suppose that we have again A and B. In this example, we have A and B. Let's suppose that A writes a letter to B in order to tell B that A wants to buy B's car. This car is a Honda Accord car, okay? A just writes to B indicating his intention to buy B's Honda Accord car at the price of, let's suppose that means 400,000 baht. Of course, this is an offer to buy. This is A's offer to buy B's car. Okay, so we have to find an acceptance. Okay, if there is an acceptance of this offer, then there is a contract. Okay, let's suppose that B, after receiving A's offer, B just sends a letter to A saying that, okay, B agrees to sell his Honda Accord car to A at the price indicated by A, that is mean 400,000 baht. We can see that in this case, when A makes an offer for a purchase of a car from B at the price of 400,000 baht, B just gives a reply to A, okay, informing A that B wants to sell this car, okay, at the same price, i.e. at the price of 400,000 baht. In this case, we can see that the acceptance or the reply, okay, given by whom? By B, okay, the acceptance given by B is identical to A's offer. There is no discrepancy. There is no difference between an offer and acceptance, okay? In this case, the acceptance made by B is an unqualified acceptance, so that this will be, the acceptance which trigger a contract. So that now we have the meeting of the minds between A and B. A makes an offer to buy the car from B, and B, okay, accepts A's offer in all the same terms. Okay, so that in this case we have the meeting of the minds between A and B, hence the formation of a contract between A and B here. When we have an offer and an acceptance which are identical, okay, in this case, okay, we call the situation as the what? As the mirror image. So the rule which is embodied in the law, it is the mirror image rule. The mirror image rule, it is a rule that in order for a contract to be formed, there must be, a complete matching between an offer and an acceptance. Put simply, an acceptance must match the offer completely without any modification. Okay, otherwise there will not be a contract. There will not be the meeting of the minds. Okay, so the reason why we call this one the mirror image rule is because we can just compare with the mirror. You see mirror here. If I look into the mirror here, okay, what should I say from the mirror? I should say myself because I input myself into the mirror, and then I will have the reflection, okay? The reflection from the mirror must be identical when I input myself into the mirror, okay? I input my picture into the mirror, then I should have, that I should see also the picture of myself as the reflection from the mirror, okay? So the input and the output must be identical in the same way as what? In the same way as the complete match between an offer and an acceptance. When A makes an offer to B, B needs to accept A offer, okay, in the way which does not, okay, depart from an offer, in the way that does not differ from the offer. Otherwise, there is no meeting of the minds. In order for a contract to be formed, we will have to be satisfied that an acceptance just matches the offer completely, okay, so that we will have the mirror image. Okay, the rule which which applies to the formation of a contract, it is the mirror image rule. Okay, this is the rule in this country in Thailand. Okay, but we will see later that some countries may sometimes depart from the mirror image rule, even though an acceptance differs from an offer. Okay, in some way, that may still operate as the acceptance. Okay, not a new offer. But in Thai law, okay, we strictly adhere to the mirror image rule. Okay, in the event where an acceptance differs from an offer in any way, that will be just a counter offer, so that there is no contract until the first party accepts that counter offer. Okay, so that is something to be made clear. Sorry about that. Now moving on to the example number 2. if you look at the example number 2, let's suppose that we have the same situation, okay? The letters between A and B. A writes a letter to B informing A's intention to purchase B cars at the price of 400,000 baht. Okay, and after B has received a letter, B does send a letter to A informing B's intention to sell that car to A. Okay, but at the price of 500,000 baht, not 400,000 baht. You can see that we have an offer to buy the car at the price of 400,000 baht, but now we have an acceptance from B, an acceptance but with some modification, because B wants to sell this car to A, not at the price of 400,000 baht as indicated in A's offer, but at the price of 500,000 baht. In this case, the acceptance just differs from an offer. The acceptance differs from A's offer, so that in this case we have the qualified acceptance, okay? The qualified acceptance, that means that the modified, the acceptance with some modification, okay? We have seen that if we go back to, the section 359 paragraph 2, 359 paragraph 2 provides that, okay, in this case, if the acceptance just differs from an offer, it will be just a new offer or a counter offer. Okay, so it is a counter offer, a new offer. So there is no contract yet, unless the first party, i.e. A, just accept that new offer. Okay, so back to this example here, we have a letter from A indicating his intention to buy the car from B at the price of 400,000 baht. So this is an offer to buy B's car. B replies, so the reply made by B is intended to be an acceptance, but the acceptance made by B indicates that B wants to sell this car to A at a different price, the price of, at the price of 500,000 baht, not 400,000 baht as indicated in A's offer. So in this case, when the acceptance contains some modification, that will be a new offer. It will be a contract if the first party, i.e. A, accept this new offer. If A say, okay, fine, if, when A just offers to buy the car at 400,000 baht, but B does not want to sell it at 400,000 baht, B want to sell it at 500,000 baht, okay, and let's suppose that A said, okay, fine, I accept your new offer here. So if A says so, that is going to be the acceptance of this new offer, so that there is a contract. But if A does not agree to this new offer, if A does not accept this new offer, then there is no contract between A and B. There is no, to use the word again, there is no meeting of the minds, or if you prefer the Latin term or the Latin expression, there is no consensus at item. Okay, so that is something, okay, to be clear in the first place. Now, as I have mentioned earlier, okay, even though that many countries resort to the mirror image rule and take the view that in order for a contract to be formed, an acceptance must match the offer completely without any modification. Okay, whether the modification is slight or whether the modification is material, right? But some countries, they adopt a new approach. Okay, we will have to consider one situation known as a battle of the form. You may wonder what is it here. Okay, when we have a situation known as a battle of the forms, this describes the situation of the two parties using their own forms. Okay, then the two parties in commercial practice mean that many traders use their own forms. When they exchange communication, when they exchange correspondence, they use their own forms. Okay, And their forms may indicate that, well, if there is a contract in the future, then the contract will have to be based upon the terms and conditions on this form. Let's say that we have A and B. When A and B, when A and B carry out their correspondence, they use their own form. A uses A's form. B also uses B's form. A's form indicate that if there is a contract, then a contract will be on the basis of the terms printed in A's form. Similarly, B also indicate in B's form that if there is a contract in the future, the contract will be on the basis of the terms on B's form. Okay, so both A and B argue that the contract in question is on the basis of his own term. So this is a battle. The battle here, it is the argument. The argument or the dispute between A and B, both parties try to say that the contract in question is on the basis of his own term. A says that the contract in question is on the basis of A's term. B also argues that the contract in question is on the basis of B's term. Okay, so now in this situation, we have seen that many countries seem to switch from a traditional approach into a modern approach. What is it when I say a traditional approach? That is the mirror image rule. The traditional approach, it is the one which adheres to the mirror image rule. Okay, the one which hold that a contract is formed when an acceptance just matches the offer completely without any modification. Okay, whether the modification is slight or material. Okay, this is the this is the traditional approach, the one that based upon the mirror image rule. Okay, but now we also have a modern approach. The modern approach does not rest upon the mirror image rule strictly. Okay, but it is based upon the so-called material alteration approach, holding that even though an acceptance differs from an offer, if it does not, okay, alter the terms of an offer materially, then it is still an acceptance, not a counter offer. Okay, when A makes an offer to B, and B want to accept A's offer, even though the acceptance made by B, okay, differs from A's offer, but okay, the difference, it is not the material alteration. It does not materially alter the terms of A's offer. In that case, the acceptance made by B still operates as an acceptance, not as a counter offer. Okay, why do many countries seem to adopt this new approach? Well, this is to give sort of the business efficacy. Okay, it is the way to give sort of the business efficacy to the parties to the contract. Okay, why so? As I have mentioned, okay, I try to just come to the size which is the right one. Okay, in the modern commerce, normally many parties they exchange correspondence. Okay, with the standard form or some standard documents. Okay, and when A does you want to present something to B, A also use A terms. And when B receives A's document, B, sometimes, okay, or more often than not, B does not look at the terms in a document very carefully. Okay, B also use B's own term. So both parties they use their own form. A has A's form. B also has B's form. Both parties use the forms for the purpose of exchanging correspondence. In commerce, many parties use their own forms, i.e. the standard documents. Okay, when A uses a form, when A sends a form to B, in the many cases B does not look at the terms in A's form very carefully. B also uses B form, and B form also contains some terms. B also insists that if a contract is formed between A and B, a contract is formed on the basis of B's terms, the terms which appear on B's form. A also say that a contract is formed on A's terms, the terms on A's form. B also argue that a contract is formed on the basis of the terms which appear on B's form. So each party claims that the contract in question is formed on its own term and conditions. So this is the dispute of the parties. Okay, the dispute between the parties. So this kind of dispute is known as a battle of the forms. So now I hope that you understand, the term, the battle or a battle of the forms. The term a battle of the forms describes the situation where the two parties in the modern trade use forms, and each party claims that the contract in question is formed on the basis of his own form. Okay, on the basis of the terms on his own form. So party A and party B, when they exchange communication, when they exchange correspondence, okay, they use their own form. A uses A form. Similarly, B uses B form. Subsequently, okay, they argue. They have argument over the terms and conditions which apply to the contract. Okay, A form has some terms. Let's say that A drops an agreement for B. When A just drop the agreement and A send this to B, this document, it is the form, it is the standard document. Put simply, A in this case uses this standard form in order to make contract with A's traders. Okay, so A uses A's form. This form, this standard document, contains the terms and conditions. Okay, when A sends this draft document to B, of course, when A sends this form to B, sometimes B does not look at the terms in this document prepared by A very carefully. Maybe B is interested in looking at the price without looking at any other terms. So B seem to ignore the terms on A's form. When B want to make a contract with A, let's suppose that when A drop this document for B, B that does not look at the terms and conditions printed on this document prepared by A very carefully. If B want to make a contract with A, let's suppose that B is satisfied with the price quoted in this document without looking at any other terms. B want to make a contract with A. B also has B's terms. B also has B's form, which contain B's own terms. Okay, let's suppose that when B received A's drop letter here or drop document here. Okay, B want to make a contract with A, okay, but B also uses B's own standard form containing some terms and conditions. After that, the A and B believe that there is a contract between them. Both parties, both A and B, believe that there is a contract between them on the basis of its own term. A believe that a contract is formed on A's terms, okay, according to this form, the form used by A. B also believe that there is a contract, okay, there is a contract on the basis of the terms on B's form. So this is the battle of the forms. Okay, the question which we will have to answer is whether or not there is a contract. And if there is a contract is on the basis of whose terms? A's terms or B's terms, okay? So now, as I have mentioned, okay, well, when there are some countries which, which resort to the traditional approach, i.e. the mirror image rule. But the thing is that if we adhere to this mirror image rule, if we adhere to the traditional approach, which is founded on the mirror image rule, then there might be some, undesirable consequences. Why? Because if we adhere to, the traditional approach, which is founded on the mirror image rule, very, very strictly, then we may end up with no meeting of the minds. Because what? Because it is likely that, okay, it is likely that, okay, that there are some differences or some discrepancies between A's form and B's form. Okay, A's form contains some terms and B's form also contains some terms. Okay, normally the terms on A's form and the terms on B form may contain some differences, even though even though differences may be slight. In some cases differences may be material, but in some cases differences may be just slight or very minor. Whether they are material or they are minor, okay, they are differences. So when the law in those countries, okay, the country which adhere to the mirror image rule, when the law say that, okay, in order for a contract to be formed, the acceptance must match the offer completely. That means that, okay, when the acceptance differs from the offer in some way, even though the differences seem to be slight, there will not be a contract because, okay, we have the acceptance which contains some modification. Okay, so that is going to be just a new offer, not an acceptance. Remember, an acceptance which contains some modifications will constitute will constitute a new offer or a counter offer. Okay, so that if we strictly adhere to the mirror image rule, then we may end up with the conclusion that there is no contract, there is no meeting of the minds. Okay, so this is something which does not promote commerce or the trade, okay? Because in practice, even though we have differences, even though we have some differences in the acceptance, sometimes the differences seem to be very minor, and sometimes the two parties, they have gone ahead with the contract. They believe that there is a contract already between them. If we strictly adhere to the mirror image rule or the traditional approach, then, okay, on a good day, one party, either A or B, if the party does not want to be bound by the contract, that party may argue that, well, sorry, there is no contract between us because there are some differences between an offer and an acceptance between us. See? So that is not going to promote, trade or commerce. if we just go ahead with the strict application of the traditional approach, which is based upon the mirror image rule, then we might not have a contract between the parties, even though the two parties sometimes they have gone ahead with that contract. Okay, so in this case, we will have to we will have to prevent the undesirability of flowing from the strict application of the mirror image rule by switching to a modern approach, which is based upon the material alteration approach, holding that if the acceptance contains some modification, if those modifications are not material alteration, okay, it is not material alteration. Even though there are some differences, let's suppose that the acceptance contains some different terms or some additional terms. If those terms, those different terms or those additional terms do not materially alter the term of the offer, okay, then the acceptance which contains the modification which does not alter the term of the offer still operates as an acceptance, not a counter offer. Okay, in order to make you understand this one better, we are going to look at the diagram later. Okay, but let me just explain to you that the reason why some countries switch from the traditional approach to this modern approach is to give business efficacy. Okay, so have a look at this diagram for your understanding. Okay, now, okay, remember we have talked about. Sorry about that. The necklace just dropped from my shoulder. Okay, a bit. Okay, let me just place the necklace, okay, on the right place now, okay, because now when I do my teaching, I try to just move my body. Sometimes the necklace just drops. Okay, now back to my costume. Right, just today, okay, I wear this costume just today in order just to celebrate the special occasion of the Songkran festival of the Thailand. Okay, so back to this one. Now, remember, when we talk about a traditional approach, the traditional approach to the better the forms issue, okay, we resort to the mirror image rule. And as I have mentioned to you, if we strictly adhere to this mirror image rule, we might end up with concluding that there is no contract at all. There is no meeting of the mind between the parties, okay, because there is the likelihood that the acceptance made by the other party contains some modification, okay. So when there is any modification, then the law in the countries which resort to the mirror image rule say that that is not an acceptance, but that is a counter offer. There is no contract until the first party accept that counter offer. Okay, so have a look at this diagram now. Okay, let's suppose that we have party A and party B. Okay, party A uses party A's form in order to just communicate with other traders. Party B also uses party B's form in order to communicate with any trader. Let's go that party A does have a move. Party A start with sending a document based upon the standard form used by party A. Party A send this document to party B, and this document is intended to be an offer. In this document, which is intended to be an offer, it has some terms. Let's suppose that it has clause 1, clause 2, clause 3, and clause 4. Right, and when this document is sent to party B may look at only some part of this document without going through the details of this document. Maybe party B look at only the price quotation without looking at any other parts of this document used by party A. Okay, let's suppose that what is sent by party A is the price quotation. This is intended to be an offer by party A. When it is sent to party B is satisfied with the price quoted in party A's document, and party B would like to just send in an order, right? And when party B send the order to party A, party B also uses party B's form, which contains some terms. Let's suppose that party B's form contains clause 1, clause 2, clause 3, and clause 4. The essence of clause 1, clause 2, clause 3, and clause 4 seem to be in the same line as clauses 1, 2, 3, 4, which appear on party A's form. But party B's form also has an additional clause, clause number 5 here. Okay, we can see that if we resort to the mirror image rule, remember in our country in Thailand, we also resort to this mirror image rule. Remember our law, our CTC say that if an acceptance contains some additions, restrictions, or any other modifications, it will be a refusal of an offer, and it will in itself constitute what? A new offer. So we in this country in Thailand, we also resort to the traditional approach, which is founded upon the mirror image rule. So if we have this situation in this country, we can conclude that the form used by party A, it is an offer. And then party B accept this offer, but the acceptance by B contains some modification because it has an additional clause, so that this is the document used by party B, the document which is used by party B. Of course, this document, it is the standard form used by party B. This is a qualified acceptance which operates as a new offer or a counter offer, so that there is no contract between A and B. There is a contract only when party A accepts this new offer. This new offer or this counter offer, okay, they're made by party B. If party A does not accept this new offer made by party B, then there is no contract between party A and party B. Okay, so we will end up with the conclusion that there is no contract between party A and party B. So such conclusion doesn't seem to promote trade in this new era. So that that's why the many countries, they have switched to the new approach, the material alteration approach, which we're going to turn to very, very shortly. Okay, but before going to look at the new approach, the material alteration approach, let's have a look at one important case in the UK. Okay, we have seen that Thai law is also based upon what? Upon the mirror image rule. English law seems to be in English law seems to take the same position, adhering to the mirror image rule very, very strictly. Okay, we have a very important case here. In fact, a very well-known case known as Butler Machine 2 and the Excel Corporation. Normally, we can call this case as the Butler Machine 2 case. The Butler Machine 2. What happened in this case is this. I try to just explain the facts in this case by using this diagram. Okay, maybe when we begin this way, okay, Let's suppose that there is A and there is B. There has been correspondence between A and B. A is the seller and B is the buyer. What I mean is that B just made some inquiries first. B just addressed some inquiries toward A, asking A whether or not A had the steel for sale. Okay, and when B asked A about availability of steel. Okay, so A, the seller, just replied to B that yes, A had this steel available for sale. So after A received the inquiries from B, A just sent a document to B. This document was intended to quote the price. So it was the what? It was the price quotation, okay, which was an offer to sell steel, an offer from A, the offer to sell steel, okay. This offer was made by A to B. Remember, A was the seller and B was the buyer, okay. So now, if we go back to, this diagram, we have now a price quotation form. When A, the seller, sent the price quotation, A used its own quotation form. So when this form was sent to B, okay, the B took a look at the contents of this form, but not fully. Maybe B just was satisfied with the price as quoted by A. The thing is that in this form which was used by A, in this price quotation form used by A, okay, it had one clause known as the price variation clause, a clause which allowed A to increase the price in some situations. Okay, so this clause is known as the price variation clause or price escalation clause. Let's suppose that that if there was some change in the world market price, then the contract, this form used by A, okay, just sought to allow A to just increase the price. Okay, so this document used by A on the basis of the standard form was intended to be an offer. Remember, this offer contained this price variation clause. When this document was sent to B, B was satisfied with the price, okay, and B wanted to order the goods. B used B orders form. You can see that the both parties used their own form. A made the price quotation on the basis of A's form. This was intended to be an offer. When this offer was sent to B, B wanted to order. Okay, the form used by A contained the price variation clause, and the form used by A made clear that the terms which appear on this form, the price quotation form, would prevail over any other terms. That means that A insisted that the contract in the future would have to be on the basis of the terms in A's form only. The price quotation form used by A. Okay, so when B received this form, B was satisfied with the price, and B wanted to make an order. B used B's order form. B did not look at the contents of A's quotation form in full. B wanted to order the goods using B's own form, the order form. The order form contained the terms and conditions which were very similar to the terms and conditions which appeared on A's form. But B's order form did not have any price variation clause. Now back to the diagram, okay. We have the price quotation form from A. which was intended to be an offer when this form was sent to B. B wanted to place an order. B used B's order form. B's order form did not have any price variation clause. A's form had the price variation clause, but B form did not contain this clause. Okay, what happened is that when B used this form, used the order form, okay, the order form also had this part that we call this one, okay, the tariff acknowledgement slip here, okay, the tariff acknowledgement slip, okay, with the expression we accept your order on the terms and conditions stated thereon. Okay, to make you understand this much better, okay, B form contain this part, okay, at the back of, not at the back, at the bottom of this document, okay, there was the tariff acknowledgement slip here, okay, with some, with some line like this, okay, and B requested A to just tear this part, okay, and send this slip to B. The document used by B, this document, it is the order form. The order form used by B did not have the price variation clause, and the document used by B contained this tariff acknowledgement slip. Okay, and B requested A to just tear this slip and send it back to B. When this document was sent by B to A, okay, A, the seller, did tear this part, the tariff slip part, and send it to B. Now, what is going to be the consequence? Okay, when the seller just replied, when the seller just, send the tariff slip to B, remember B is the buyer, okay? Okay, then it was held by the court that, okay, in this case, the act of tearing off this tariff slip and sending it to B, that was the acceptance by A to begin with. The court held that when A used A's form with the price variation clause, this was an offer. When this offer was made to B, okay, when B used B's order form, which did not contain any price variation clause, that was an acceptance. B used this form in order to make an order, in order to place an order. So this document used by B was an acceptance, but this acceptance did not have any price variation clause, so that this acceptance was the qualified acceptance, and it would constitute what? It would constitute a new offer. When it was a new offer, the seller just accepted this new offer by, tearing up this acknowledgement slip and sending it back to B. So this act constitutes the acceptance of this new offer. So in this case, there was a contract between A and B. The contract was made on the basis of whose terms? Between A's term and B's term. The answer is that this contract was concluded on the basis of B's term, because B made a new offer, a counter offer, and this counter offer was accepted by A, so that this contract was concluded on B's term. So we can see that, according to this traditional approach, the one who would win the battle of the forms is the one who fires the last shot. When we use the expression fire the last shot, okay, this only means that it is the act of making a what? It is the act of making the last new offer, the last counter offer, which was finally accepted by the other party. So when A makes an offer to B and B accepts A offer with some modification, that is a new offer or a counter offer, okay? The new offer or a counter offer. So if A accepts this counter offer, in this case B fires the last shot. Okay, B just fires the last shot because B is the one who makes, the last counter offer, which is finally accepted by the other party. So in this case, the contract is made on the basis of the form used by the party who fired the last shot, on the basis of the terms, on the form of the party who makes the last counter offer, which is accepted by the other party. Okay, so the one who wins the battle is the one who makes the last counter offer, which is finally accepted by the other party. Okay, so the Thailand and some other countries, including the UK, resort to the mirror image rule. So when we use the mirror image rule, that means that there are chances of having no contract between parties because the acceptance contains some modification, okay, and that qualifies acceptance, the acceptance which contains some modification, okay. It is not an acceptance, but it is a new offer. If the first party does not accept that new offer, then there is no contract. There is no meeting of the minds. So that this direction of the direction of the findings doesn't seem to promote trade, the modern trade in our present time. Okay, this is why nowadays many countries have switched to the modern approach. The modern approach to a better of the forms it chooses. Okay, according to the modern approach, even though we have an acceptance, okay, let's suppose that A makes an offer to B and B accepts say offers. When B accepts say offer with some modifications, if the modifications are not material, if the modification in question does not, alter the terms of the offer materially, then that acceptance still operates as an acceptance, not as a counter offer. In order for you to understand this one very well, okay, let's use a diagram again. For the purpose of explanation again. Let's suppose that we have party A and we have party B. Each party uses its own term. Party A uses party A's form. Party B uses party B form. Okay. In the document, the standard document used by party A, it contains clauses 1, 2, 3, 4. This form used by party A is sent to party B. When party B wants to make a contract with party A, party B also uses party B's own form, which contain clause 1, clause 2, clause 3, and clause 4, which in essence are identical to clauses 1, 2, 3, 4 appearing in party A's form, but party B's form also has clause number 5. With this additional clause, that means that the document used by party B, contains some modification, so that Okay, in this case, in the country which resort to the mirror-image rule, this is a counteroffer. But in a country which resort to the model approach, which is founded upon the material alteration, okay, rule, if the acceptance differs from an offer, even though it differs from an offer, but if the difference, it is not the material alteration, okay, it does not materially alter the terms of the offer, then the document used by party B altogether still operates as the acceptance, not a counter offer. It is regarded as an acceptance nonetheless, not a counter offer. If the difference which is contained in the document used by party B does not materially alter the terms of the offer, then all the terms together in the document used by party B here, all the terms appearing in the form used by party B, they are what? They constitute an acceptance, not a counter offer. So that we have an offer from the document used by party A, from the form used by party A, and now we have an acceptance, okay, we have an acceptance, okay, as a result of the form used by party B, so that there is the meeting of the minds. We have the offer from A and the acceptance from B, so that there is the meeting of the minds, hence a contract between A and B. Now, when we have a contract between A and B, the question arises as to whether or not this contract contains clause number 5 as well. Well, I mean, the answer to this question, depends on the rules adopted by each country. Okay, some countries, they resort the knockout rule. Okay, so based upon the knockout rule, a contract is formed only on the basis of identical terms, so that in this situation there is a contract between A and B. Okay, the contract is formed with clause 1, 2, 3, and 4. Which clause 1, clause 2, clause 3, and clause 4, because the identical terms are clauses 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so clause number 5 is knocked out. It is knocked out. This is the knockout rule, okay, adopted by some countries, but a majority of countries, if they switch to the new approach, they seem to take the view that clause number 5, okay, in this diagram, okay, the additional term or the different term will be part of the contract as well. The contract is formed between A and B on the basis of B's terms, okay, with also the different term or the additional term, okay, introduced by party B as well. Okay, we can see this approach in at least the UN Convention on Contracts for International Sales of Goods, 1980. I don't know whether you are aware of this convention. Okay, the convention introduced by the United Nations. Many countries, have different rules of law, okay, regarding sale of goods, international sales of goods. Okay, so that the United Nations has made attempts to form uniform rules which apply to the contract of sales, contract of international sales. Okay, so these attempts have appeared in the UN Convention on Contracts for International Sale of Goods, or called CISG for short. If you look at Article 19 of the CISG, we can see the statement of law with respect to an acceptance. Okay, look at what is said in paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. Article 19 here has paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. Paragraph 1 provides as follows: A reply to an offer which purports to be an acceptance but contain additions, limitations, or other modifications is a rejection of the offer and constitutes a counter offer. You can see that the statement which is embodied in paragraph 1 here, it is in fact a mirror image rule. According to the traditional approach, okay, this is what we have seen in Thai law. If we go back to Thai law again, okay, this is what is in the section 359 paragraph 2. Remember, our civil and commercial code contains section 359 paragraph 2, which provides that an acceptance which contains additions, limitations, or other modifications shall be deemed to be a refusal and constitute in itself a new offer. See? So, what we have seen in Article 19 of the CISG just now, remember back to Article 19 here, paragraph 1. What we have seen in paragraph 1 here, okay, it is just the mirror image rule in the same way as section 359, which we have seen a while ago, right, of our civil and commercial code, right. But if we move on to paragraph 2, we can see that paragraph 2 provides as follows: however, a reply to an offer which purports to be an acceptance but contains additional or different terms which do not materially alter the terms of the offer constitutes an acceptance. See, not a counter offer again. A reply to an offer which purports to be an acceptance but contains additional or different terms which do not materially alter the terms of the offer constitutes an acceptance. See? So this is what we have seen from this picture. If A makes an offer containing clause 1, clause 2, clause 3, and clause 4, and B, okay, makes the acceptance containing clause 1, 2, clause 1, clause 2, clause 3, and clause 4, which are identical to clauses 1, 2, 3, 4 in A's offer, but B's acceptance also has clause number 5. This is an additional clause, an additional term. Okay, if this additional term does not materially alter the terms of the offer. That means that clause number 5 may be something very trivial, something very minor. It does not materially alter the terms of the offer. Okay, this is regarded as just an acceptance, not a counter offer. Okay, unless the offeror without undue delay objects only to the discrepancy or dispatches a notice to that effect. That means that that if A does not want a contract to be formed, A will have to object. A will have to object only, okay, or A will have to dispatch a notice in order to object the discrepancy. Okay, if A does not do so, have a look at what is said further. if he does not so object the terms of the contract, or the terms of the offer with the modifications contained in the acceptance. That means that if A does not object, if A does not raise any objection to clause number 5 here, then there is a contract between A and B with this clause as well, with this clause number 5 as well. See, so that we have, according to Article 19, paragraph 2 here, in this situation, we have a contract between A and B, okay, with, the additional term or the different term as well, okay. So we can see that this perception, this perception seems to promote modern trade, because as we have seen in modern trade, each party uses its own term without looking at the contents of the other party's term very carefully, and each party just go ahead with the contract, okay. So the law promotes a contract. The law promotes the formation contract by holding that, well, there is a contract between the two parties if the two terms, even though the offers and acceptance, okay, have some discrepancy or modifications. If the differences or if the discrepancies do not alter the term of the offer, then there is a contract between these two parties with the different term or additional term being part of the contract as well. Okay, so this seems to give the witness efficacy, okay, between the parties. Okay, so we have seen this not only in Article 19 of the CISG here, we have also seen this in American law. In America, they have the instrument known as the Uniform Commercial Code, or the UCC. Okay, something similar to Book 3 of our Civil and Commercial Code specific contracts. They have the Uniform Commercial Code. Okay, the Uniform Commercial Code, or UCC. Okay, dealing with many the commercial contracts. Okay, the Uniform Commercial Code in Section 2. Section 2, it is a section which deals with a contract of sale. Section 207 provides as follows: a definite and seasonable expression of acceptance, okay, operates as an acceptance even though it states terms additional to or different from those offered or agreed upon. That means that even though the acceptance contains some the additional terms or some different terms, the acceptance with those terms, the acceptance with those additional terms or different terms still operates as what? Operates as an acceptance. Now, if we go on to paragraph 2 of the section 207 goes on to say between merchants, okay, such terms, that means that such additional term, right? Such additional term or different term, okay, such additional terms or different terms become part of the contract unless they materially alter the offer. That means that if the additional terms or different terms do not alter the terms of the offer materially, then those additional terms or different terms form part of the contract as well. So that we have seen, the new approach, the modern approach, the approach founded upon the material alteration, okay, the perception in many instruments, okay. We have seen this also in in what else? even in the PECL, principles of European contract law. In the European Union, okay, they also want to have a uniform. They would like to also have a uniform set of rules which apply to contracts. So they want to do what? They wanted to have the European Civil Code. Okay, and they prepare the PECL, okay, the principle of European contract laws, in order for it to constitute what? Constitute the code, constitute the sale law, okay, in the European Civil Code. This instrument, the PECL, has been finalized, but it has not been the law in the European Union, because the PECL, which has become final, has been taken over by the so-called SGECC, the study group on the European Civil Code. The SGECC used this PECL as a basis for preparing a new set of rules known as the Draft Common Frame of Reference, or the DCFR. The DCFR is also intended to be a code of European contract law as well. Okay, now what we see in the PECL is this. Look at Article 2208. 2208. Look at the heading of 2208, modify acceptance. Okay, this Article 2208 consists of paragraph 1 and paragraph 2 in the same way as what we have seen in Article 19 of the CISG. Paragraph 1 says a reply by the offeree which states a reply by the offeree which states or implies additional or different terms which would materially alter the terms of the offer is a rejection and a new offer. But paragraph 2 goes on to say a reply which gives a definite assent to an offer operates as an acceptance, even if it states or implies additional or different terms, provided these do not materially alter the terms of the offer. So I think the position seems to be the same as what we have seen in Article 19 of the CSG. Again, what is meant by that is that if we have an additional term or a different term, if the additional term or different terms does not materially alter the terms of the offer, then the acceptance, which has been some different terms or which have some different terms, still operates as an acceptance, so that there can be a contract between the two parties. Okay, so this new approach, the material alternative approach, seems to promote trade. It seems to give business efficacy. So the thing is that in our country, in Thailand, okay, there is no such the approach being adopted in our CCC. Okay, so we may also ask the question whether or not time is right for us to insert a new provision in our CCC to have something like what we have seen in Article 19, paragraph 2 here, i.e. to have the material alternative approach, okay, as part of our law. Maybe we can just have this provision, okay, which is intended to apply to commercial contracts, not to a non-commercial contracts. Okay, I leave this to you for your further thinking. Okay. Okay. Now, okay. Oh my God. Now I have given lecture for about 1 hour and 40 something minutes. Okay, so I think that we are going to call for a short break. Okay, so we call for a short break, and then we resume the class in about 5 to 10 minutes time. Okay. Thank you very much for your attention. Okay, and see you very soon. Okay, after the break. Okay.